So, guys, welcome to the Creative Industries Podcast. I'm here with Grant from Moonshine Productions, doing all aspects of video and media and things like that. So this is quite exciting, Grant. I think we've only ever had one videographer and that kind of media person on before, and that was ages ago. So, appreciate you having you. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Sounds like I've got a high bar to live up to.
No. We're excited to have you. Grateful for your time as well. And I have my student team who you just heard. One of them, Owen, is on the call with us now. Owen, how you doing?
Hello, how are we all doing? I'm certainly doing okay, thank you.
Magic stuff. We've got Jude as well. How you, Jude? Magic. We've got Eloise. How you doing?
No, I'm all right.
Magic. And Lily as well. How you doing, Lily?
Hi, I'm doing great, actually. Thanks for having me on this podcast.
So, yeah, on the podcast, they're helping out behind the scenes and helping host it as well. So, Grant, thanks so much for joining us. Like I said before, we went on air. We're looking for your website. So many interesting things you've covered, from esports to politics to football on Sky to, I noticed, even a Kasabian live video, an interview with One Direction's up on there, all this stuff. So it's really cool. We'll maybe get to that later about all the opportunities you've had to film various things and be working on projects, whether it's filming or editing, all the things that go along with that. So it's super exciting. But what I first thought I'd ask, Grant, is when a lot of our students are 16 to 25 years old, and a lot of our listeners are that age group. So I was wondering, if we rewound the clock to young Grant, what was it like for you then? And you were you just finding out your kind of interests? Were you already into videography and photography and cameras then, or was that something that came later? What was it like then?
No, it's I'm a bit of a unique one, that I remember always wanting to do something in media, even when I was really little. Even at primary school, my mum loves going on about this. I started doing a school newspaper and wanting to do that, and then going, I want to be a journalist. And then I realised that I didn't really like writing that much, and it's a lot easier to pick up a camera. Then sort of promote that when I think when I was about 10, I say, my folks actually ended up letting their house out for film shoots. And so when we had some film shoots come in, I was just hooked from there and was like, this is what I want to do. And yeah, went straight from seeing that. I was assistant director, which, I mean, it was a totally fake role, but the director took me under his wing. I think he was the guy who did Father Ted on the Daz Cleaner Close commercials. And so I did one of those. Yes.
One of my all-time favourite TV shows ever. Greatest.
That's probably the best one for sampling, actually, as well.
Yeah, if
Good
anyone's not seen it, it's about these Irish priests who live in a remote island, and it's kind of a comedy. So yeah,
I've got to find this.
Yeah.
Let's go from that to a advert for washing detergent was probably a bit of a step down for him, but for me it was just interesting to see what happens.
Oh, amazing stuff! That is so cool to get an opportunity, and I think it's quite magic. You knew from the start you're wanting to do something in that field, and kind of explored a few different paths to find it as well. I think, like I said, a lot of our students that age, when they're trying different things like that, at Super Jam, they get a chance to do podcast, music, media, lots of different things. So that's cool. You got the chance to kind of specialise into that. Eloise, got a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, were your parents supportive of what you were doing and encouraging that?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, mostly. I'd say my dad, whenever he got his opportunity, would try and say, "Oh, why don't you want to do something with maths or finance?" Because that's what he works in. But I think he's started having enough fun when the shoots were on that he started seeing why I wanted to do it.
That's a great question as well, Louise, for sure. And it does help if you've got that. And I think you can still succeed even if they don't, but it does help a lot if people are kind of up for that. That's for sure, yeah. So did you pursue it into, from school into college, or did you go straight into sort of like freelancing and doing it yourself?
So, again, another interesting question. I caused a bit of a ruckus at my school as...
Okay.
They only let you do media studies if you were in the lower sets, which I never quite liked, and even to this day I just think it sort of casts it in a negative light, saying it's in the lower sets. And so I said I'll go into the lower sets, leave my class that I'd been with since I started secondary school, and was like, I'll go do that for my A levels, since that's what I want to do. It wasn't ideal, but it was like, if that's what you want me to do. And in the end, during the summer holidays before I started my A levels, they went, "Oh, we've reevaluated and we'll open it to all classes, so you can stay where you were." So that was a nice little peaceful protest. And then at the same time, I only live up the road from what was the site of Ravensbourne University now, which is a broadcast. Well, there used to be broadcast, like the best broadcast uni in the world, pretty much. I'd heard.
And it's a tech college as well. It does all sort of technology and media and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Yes.
Cool.
So they were only up the road, and so pretty much every open day from 14, I was there, to the fact that they're like, "Oh, you again."
We have to give this guy a place.
Just you again.
much.
Hello there.
Yeah, the slow burn.
It shows you that power of persistence, though, and just consistency, just showing up the places you're interested. It's powerful to do that. Isn't it? People do notice, like, for sure. Yeah. I think people.
Yeah, that's where I ended up going as well. So that was pretty much my only uni I applied for that I cared when the letter came.
Yeah, that's cool. It shows you, like, the sort of the power of consistency and kind of showing up. And even if you're not an expert, I think people like to nurture people that show that little spark of like, I want to try this. So that's really cool, actually. I love that, Grant. So how was your time at Ravensbourne? Because I have heard of it. It sounds like an amazing place.
Yeah, I really liked my time there. I'd say the first 2 years are just pretty much 80% practical, and so we had a studio. We were doing full multi-camera productions on like the old kit that ITV shows were shot on, and loved it. So the third year was a lot more obviously writing based, but having had that foundation, that's why they call it a foundation degree. Having had that foundation of doing it for the last 2 years, being able to then comment on it and do the more abstract stuff for a full degree was just brilliant.
Amazing stuff. That's cool. Yeah, and I can imagine some Super Jam students pursuing that one day. If anyone's listening who's not heard of it before, it's kind of based in Greenwich, looking on the map, sort of near the O2 at the moment anyway. I don't know if they've got other campuses as well, but that looks like the main one that comes up when I've done it.
Yeah, they're just based there. I think they have rolled back a bit on broadcasting somewhat, so it's not what it was. I mean, I'm not going to start saying back in my day, but I know, in fact, I currently work with one of the lecturers there who taught me Division Mix way back when, and he's saying, "Oh, it's not the same." So there's plenty of other places out there that have now stepped up with the with social media and everything coming so prevalent.
Yeah, and speaking of that, maybe on a little side quest story here, like social media, I sometimes think, so there's almost, you could say, more video out there than ever before, and do you find does that make it quite a good time? Like you mentioned, maybe wanting to be a print journalist when you were a kid and started a newspaper, and of course, over the last 10, 15 years, there's been a bit of a decline in printed press. Do you find for people who make videos, has there been a little bit of uplift in opportunities and work?
I think so, yeah. There's definitely, I mean, even the papers themselves, we've done some stuff for The Guardian, Telegraph, etc. They're jumping on the bandwagon, as it were. And it seems to be the easier way to consume information these days.
Yeah, it makes sense as well. Like, I've noticed a lot of people are like, I prefer to watch a video on this rather than like have to read it, or like you get the kind of good way to learn things or be entertained as well. So a bit of both. Yeah, amazing stuff. So you've left the college, the university, Ravensbourne, and how did you start out? Because I think that's a point for anyone. I guess in any profession, to be honest, but especially the creative arts, where quite often the jobs aren't just listed on Indeed.com or other job websites. They're some, to be fair, but compared to like finance or healthcare, all the jobs will be in a certain job board. Whereas in the creative industries, it's a bit different. So you have to be a little bit more of a hustler or seek it out. How did you find that? How did you feel actually when you were leaving college about to go into that?
So I, when I left, I had a very unfortunate, but in hindsight, hilarious experience.
Okay.
the sister of the head of ITN, which is make ITV and Channel 4 News and Channel 5, hit me up the back of my car as I was driving back from uni.
Oh
Oh
no!
my god.
Luckily, I had just dropped the probably 70 grand's worth of camera kit off about 5 minutes beforehand at the uni. Otherwise, that would have been a much bigger bill.
Oh no!
But whilst we were waiting, she just said, "Oh, what were you doing?" I just said I had some camera gear in and that I was a student there. And then she was like, "Oh, you might want to apply for this." And it was a ITM placement for the summer.
Oh.
And so I got it. And then, I got a wink from her sister on my first day there. It was like, "I think you're going to get in."
Yeah.
Maybe that was fate.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe that
Hopefully it
supposed
was.
to happen.
Yeah. And if you hadn't been out there filming stuff and taking that opportunity, you wouldn't have been in your car and you might not have had that opportunity. So
I was like, oh, but this wouldn't even happen.
Exactly.
It just shows you.
But yes,
like,
that's
that's amazing, yeah. So getting out and about. And did you think, well, we're based in Kent, we're like in this sort of Canterbury and sort of East Kent area, a lot of us anyway. And it's actually not that far from London, where a lot of these headquarters are for the bigger media companies, and and then a lot of those people like eventually leave the city, still keep those jobs, but maybe live. You know, right? So I do think it's quite a good county and area to be near that world, without having to, exactly live in London as well, because the opportunities or paths might cross with people like that sometimes.
exactly. I love the fact that I can be in London in 30 minutes, but I also like the fact that I'm not in London all the time.
I get that. I love that city, but to live there, I think, is a bit kind of intense. But I love
Chaotic,
it.
yeah.
I feel like I've got a lot of good things to say about it, but I've actually never lived there, but I love visiting.
I heard that London was recently ranked the best city in the UK, and I was just like, it's really not.
I was like, you sure about that? You sure it's going to be ranked the
Well,
best city?
I saw it on Instagram, so take it, with just, I don't know how true that is.
You checked your sources.
Check yourself.
Yeah, so I think you got the benefit of both actually sort of being in Kent, but being close to London then.
Yeah.
And like I said, that led to the opportunity of you getting the ITM placement, which is amazing. So cool. So how did you find that? Because I think for people who might be thinking about leaving Super Jam soon, or maybe some of our leavers who've listened to this podcast a while, or have been to uni or further college and now even looking for that work, I guess those types of sort of first steps into the industry through a placement, that could be a really good option.
Definitely, yeah. Applied to a lot of them, but obviously had this fortunate/unfortunate experience that helped me along the way with that one, which was a bit of luck. But at the same time, I volunteered at the uni. They did a student ambassador program that we ran over the summer, where we made a few shows, brought different sixth forms in to experience that. So that was a nice little starter whilst I was waiting for ITN to start. And I probably wouldn't have got my first job and last job, thinking about it, had I not got the ITM placement or done all those other things as well. So definitely putting yourself out there where you can is useful.
Yeah, taking those opportunities through, whether you're at the college or if they come outside, just kind of going for it, and kind of, even if it can sometimes feel a bit daunting, I think it's worth going for it, because then it can lead to other things as well. Yeah, as long as it's aligned to what you're kind of hoping to do, for sure. Amazing. So how was the ITN thing? What was the first day like when you got there? What kind of things were you doing?
This is where I'd say Ravensbourne was perfect for setting up. We walked down, and other than the fact the ITN studio is just a massive green screen, which I'd not done a full infinity curve where you walk in and it's just green.
Really?
The entire thing is projected.
Whoa.
And yeah, it's they have motion tracking within, so the cameras all know where they are in the room, and so that's why you can have it where it looks like a thing. But they've now had to add little projectors on that are just showing enough of the virtual set so that the guys know where to look. Because at the point they'd be like this, it's like the screen's over here. But, damn it, I'm looking at the wrong place. So they've added that in. So that was the one difference of you being able to, as a camera operator, point to a two shot of the studio. You'd be like, they can't see it. They clearly can't see it, but I can see it on my screen. So a lot of funny moments where they're looking at the wrong place. But that was a good year as well, as it was the Beijing Olympics. So there was a lot of extra work of doing late news shows, and so doing the 2 a.m. news by yourself, which is a bit random. Going, I'm by myself running a news show. That's a bit for national telly.
Cool, that's amazing stuff. So yeah, can you guys imagine a full green screen studio like that? That's so cool. That is really cool. I love the idea of that.
It's kind of like what they do in the movies. Like they've got the whole area that they do some. So if it's like some sort of set where they're meant to do like some sort of stunt move, it's like a whole green screen like that. But then instead of it being a movie, it's kind of linked to like TV and other things. But yeah, it's like a whole green screen like that.
Yeah, that is. So, this is the kind of stuff we love on the podcast. Right, getting these pulling back the curtain behind the scenes on the creative industries.
Just peeking through, like, oh, what am I seeing right now? Just a green screen.
Absolutely.
Well, I say nowadays it's even gone one up on that. So things like the Mandalorian, for example, is the pioneer of it, is virtual projection, where you're actually kind of a bit like what ITV was trying to do, but you've got the screen behind you, and so you can react to it, which is the nice new thing there. The Disguise do a lot of that, and so doing some work there, which has been fun. Just be like, oh yeah, I kind of need this tree to move. Back in the day, you'd have to get someone on props to move it, or the art department, and now you just go with a mouse, which is a lot easier.
Wow, that is so cool, so cool. So after your the ITM placement and doing all that, was that when were you gradually thinking, oh, I really want to start up my own thing? Was that sort of brewing inside you at that point?
Yes, but I chickened out and got a full-time job.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
So there's I was applying around the same time that I was doing ITV, just because I knew that would end eventually, and so I ended up getting a job at Reuters, that was then called Thomson Reuters, for a news, starting a digital news program. So not a TV one, but just going fully online for a platform and all that jazz. So it was nice. That was my dissertation at uni, was about bringing news to the masses through digital and online content, which called it.
Yeah, you can take that. You've got it written down in a dissertation. There's no arguing. Absolutely, yeah. Amazing.
And so, we got the job there. That was September 2008.
So that's like in the sort of early days of YouTube, right? YouTube's been around a few years by then, but it's kind of all in its infancy. And I guess in 2008, that's when broadband was kind of rolling out and more people had access to high-speed internet.
When did YouTube actually start?
2009.
Yeah, I think it was between 2009 or something like a bit later or earlier. But yeah, it's like YouTube was quite popular, like you said, David. Like even with like all the memes coming through on YouTube as well, you mostly see a lot of memes. Even people trying to get like those really high voltage broadcasts and stuff to have like really good Wi-Fi. But yeah, I get what you mean by that.
Yeah, looking on the little fact check here, 2005 on Valentine's Day, it started.
Oh my
Wow.
God!
Wow.
So it was in its infancy, and so next year YouTube will be having its 20th anniversary, which is like whoa.
Wow!
That's after I was born, because I was born in 2006.
Oh my God, YouTube's older than you.
Thanks. I feel old now. Thanks.
I was born in 2002, so way before you.
Same year as my sister, my middle sister, yeah.
I'm also 2002.
And then only
old.
in 2006, it only took 1 year for Google to purchase it for $1.65 billion.
Whoa.
Wow, I'm old.
Whoa.
I'm so old.
Which is the equivalent to $2.3 billion now, apparently.
Has anyone seen like the first ever YouTube video? It was,
Oh, I've heard about
person
that.
at Zoom.
Guy,
Yeah, I seen that and I heard about it.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So, yeah.
No, I've not seen that.
I have. I'm so old because I was actually born on the 6th of January 2006. I'm so old.
Okay. Sure you are, Liv.
Yeah, I'm not commenting on that.
Probably one of the good years for drum and bass, actually, as well,
right.
2006.
There you go. So like I said, like with the whole video media online revolution, I guess, you were like kind of at Reuters helping them really take advantage of that, I guess. Did it feel quite cool being part of their team that's like, this is the new thing we're doing? Was that quite exciting?
It was nice, yeah, and I was the first hire, which was always nice to be like,
Ooh.
I'm the first one. So on that department at least. So it was cool, nice to do it. I mean, in fact, I remember they had a camera before we got started properly, so we were still building the studio, and it's the only time in my career that I've ever used tape, and it's just like, well, glad I wasted all that time at uni learning how to use tape.
Wait a minute, they wanted to start an online channel, but gave you a camera that wasn't digital.
It was DV tape, so you could just digital tape. But yeah,
You've nearly got
get a hard
gypped.
drive.
I love that. That's a great story as well. I think that is a nice detail. Amazing stuff. And was it all different news topics you were covering on that, or was it like focused on a certain area of the news, or what was
It was financial news was the main thing we did. So that was obviously a good, not a good year, but it was a good time to be there because I think our first ever broadcast was just as the financial crisis started. I remember I accidentally deafened one of the guys at the Bank of England because I just leant over the audio mixer and hit the wrong button. So he got some tone down his ear. Yeah.
That's for tanking the economy, mate.
Pretty much.
Oh no.
Oh man. So that's so eventually after Reuters, was that when you were like, oh, what are we going to do next? You mentioned you had this sort of brewing feeling that eventually you'd want to start your own thing. Is this eventually leading up to that?
Yeah, I'd say I think it was 2011, 2012 or so, they had a lot of cuts. They ironically didn't want to go onto YouTube. They thought it would sully their name, which was a bit silly. And so they wanted to keep it on a private platform. Well, no one can see it, this sort of thing, which I'd say sometimes having a video channel is your biggest attribute for companies these days. So they wanted to go that direction. I was thinking, oh, I could see other ways going. Then they had a cull of like 80% of the staff, all of the people I liked, everyone that I hung out with. Well, not that I didn't like the ones that weren't still there, but they put all of the work that was done was then put on to me. So I had to carry the equivalent of 2 people's kit around Europe by myself instead of for 2 people. So that got a bit awkward, and it was like, I think I need to do this where I have more control.
There's like a lot of strain.
Yes. I mean, there was points where I couldn't walk properly for a good few months. I always remember it's a very sad story. A lot of people won't care, but the UK vetoed something in the EU back when we were in the EU. And we were at the other end of some long street in Brussels, and it's like, it's never happened before. We've got to go, and I'm carrying 90 kilos of kit on my various arms. It's like, I can't run any faster. And I got there, like turned the camera on, and just sort of collapsed in a lump on the floor.
One large person or 2 small people. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, so that was the literal breaking point for you. It wasn't
Pretty
the
much.
straw that broke the camel's back. It was the equipment that broke the video.
Look at his back.
Pretty much.
Oh my God.
And it has a silver lining though, as I even now, like whenever I've got kit with people, even to this day, and some of the guys I've worked with at Reuters are on it, they always go, you always make sure we carry the right amount of stuff. You don't push it. It's like, you remember the good old days.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, amazing. So then you're like, right, okay, we're going to start your own production. And I guess with that experience behind you, although it must have been a bit, I'm guessing a bit kind of like daunting, but you must have had a little bit like, okay, were you thinking I can do this?
I was thinking I want to do this. My dad he had started his own business about 2 years before. And so I'd sort of seen it and done a trial run, for lack of a better words, if I helped him set up all the email domains and all this sort of thing, and a phone system, which, hell, who needs that these days? But then on Christmas Day, that day, he's like, I know you want to leave. I've got your present. And it was Company's House registration. He had done it at 11:59 whilst a bit drunk, and so he'd spelt the name wrong that I'd said I'd go with.
Oh
But luckily, the people at Company's House were very cool because they'd seen it was like late on Christmas Eve and went, "What do you want to change it to? If it's the same letter, then you can get away with it." So that's why Moonshine was originally Mind's Eye, as in I'm in a mine. It's meant to be Mind's Eye, but yeah, went with Moonshine in the end.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's really cool. Your dad's there as well. That's
Yeah.
funny and cool.
He
no!
gave
Even
me
when
the
he's
nudge.
drunk.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, amazing. So, and then I take it from that year, you started building it up. Is there any in that first year any moments that you want to share that were kind of you think were kind of interesting moment, or that was a bit of a challenge, or that went well, anything like that from the first 12 months?
I just would say on that front, it was word of mouth is very important in the media industry, and I never really clocked that before that moment. I just sort of started saying to people, "Oh, I'm looking to maybe go freelance." I stayed working at Reuters for another 10 months just to sort of have an income whilst I set it up in the background. But it was, "Oh, hey, you." A few of the people that had left Reuters was like, "Oh yeah, as soon as you go, I'll get you and I'll get you." So it sort of gave that safety net. And then just for full hilarious irony, at my leaving do at Reuters, they realized that they hadn't got anyone to cover me the next day. So my first freelance shift was my old job.
Hopefully charging triple the hourly rate.
Pretty much.
That is amazing. It's funny the way these industries work, isn't it? Yeah, oh my god, that is so funny. And it just shows you how, like, when you leave somewhere, leaving on good terms is, like, is a good thing to try and do, because then you never know what repeat opportunities might come up even,
Yeah. I still do stuff there now.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. I think that's really good, like, and obviously, although you didn't hold any resentment or anything, it's giving you opportunities still. And I think that's important in the creative industries. Like you said, almost everyone kind of starts to know everyone, so just trying to be as personal as possible is really important, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So finding your first clients kind of through word of mouth and using your previous connections, I think that's a good takeaway for anyone listening. That's kind of, don't be afraid to reach out to people. And you're not kind of asking them because I'm out, being like, "Hey, I've started this new thing. Is anyone interested in it? Or do you know anyone that might be?" Rather than being like, "Buy my thing," or "Hire me." So you can do it in that sort of softer way, can't you? Where you can like sort of reach out and hopefully find some clients that way, but without the hard sell sort of vibe.
Yeah, just hey, good to catch up. How are things? I'm just thinking of doing this. Wink, 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 wink.
That's cool. No, I like that. And looking, like I said, we were looking at your portfolio on the website. I'm sure you've done even more than that. But there was some highlights. I know, Owen, you were interested in the Sky football one.
Yes, Sky Bet Championship. We've seen that you've done some stuff for behind the scenes.
Remember that project, Grant?
I'm frantically going to the website to have a look.
Sneak peek.
I'm on the gallery page of that house. This is one where
Yes.
with Rasmus, someone on it, and the interview.
Yes. Oh God, yes. So one of the things through, as you say, word of mouth is met a lot of contacts along the way, and I've got a good company that we do a lot of stuff with these days, and they have very varied things that come in, and this was one of those. And so it was just like a week's notice. "Oh, can you go film the highlights at Chelsea?" I was like, "Yeah, right." Rocking up on the day, not really having any clue what was going on, what was going to
Chelsea
happen.
Premier League though.
Say again, sorry?
Chelsea Premier League though.
Well, they just rented the space out, so the actual event was nothing to do with them. They probably didn't even know that there was anyone there.
Okay.
Stadium. I've got you. So
Yeah.
Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, they
That's where it
rent
would
that
have been
place
there.
out for corporate events. I say I've done a couple at West Ham. Yeah, that's a good money earner when there's no one on site. Or I remember it was blooming hot.
Yeah, because that used to be known as so West Ham used to be known as Upton Park,
Yes.
and then now it's known as the London Stadium.
Okay,
Oh yes.
West Ham, or they used to also play before that was built. They then played their football at the Olympic Park as well.
Amazing. And then from football to music, we see there is a Kasabian live video as well, and I grew up listening to Kasabian, right?
Ooh.
Got some fans that are looking.
Me too.
Careful, you guys know about
Yeah,
it.
I've seen them live.
You seen the live, dude? No way.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it, but it's cool.
I'm aware of. In fact, I heard one of the guys in one of the classes earlier playing Kasabian, and I believe it was one of the tracks from their 2011 album.
Dude, where did you see
Oh,
the live?
can't remember.
Was it Pen or?
It was. Oh, it's Nebworth Park.
Ah, cool.
I went to see Lady
Nice.
Gaga, and they were supporting.
Nice one.
What
Ooh.
year was that?
Nice.
Nice one.
Oh God!
Oh, so it's not far ago.
Cool. So what was it like meeting them, Greg? Were you kind of behind the scenes in that one or leading that shoot? How did that one come about?
Yeah, so one of the niches that I sort of carved out for myself, as well as sort of being a multi-skilled person, was just developing streaming as it was getting going. And so a good friend of mine was running the Vision Mix live on that. So the whole, I mean, I'm not sure if they ever got a record or anything, but that's one of, if not the first live streamed one take videos. So the entire thing is one single take from beginning to end, stream live. There's like a big promo stunt. So I was in charge of the streaming whilst he ran the cameras as sort of a
One of the first
worst case. There was a backup.
It was like one of the first ever sort of live stream multicam, gig things.
It wasn't that it was a multicam one. It was just the first music video to ever be done live. So that entire video, although it looks like it's a nice polished post production thing, was done in those 3.5 minutes, whatever it was.
That's really
Which,
cool.
yes, there were a lot of trial takes.
Oh, that's the trick. Take. Yeah, I get that. I can imagine that maybe even the musicians, even those experienced as Kasabian, are even feeling a bit of the pressure on that one.
Quite often
Definitely.
I hear that
And it
artists
was
hate
like, we're going
like-
for it on this one, and everyone just suddenly tightens up.
Yeah. What was that, Jude? Sorry. That's right.
I think they liked the challenge. They seemed quite up for it on this one. They were getting sick of the rehearsals, but I mean, I've worked with some artists on other promos in like just take after take after take. Admittedly, sometimes I'm the one asking for the repeated takes and getting the backlash, but I think they like the idea of, if I screw this up on the live one, it's out there, and so that they liked that challenge of it was easier to get them to play along when you're like, if you trip up, it's gonna go live.
What were the other artists did you work with to do all like this? What kind of stuff?
Oh. Yeah, none are coming to mind. That's always fun, having a complete mind blank. The one that has come to mind recently I did was, not even recently, was just this actress who decided to start a music career, paid for a video. I had to get my mum in as a double because after we shot it, we asked her, okay, cool, you're free on Tuesday to do this. How artists can be all fickle. She went, oh, actually, I'm moving to Canada. Did I not say this? So I was like, okay, but all of the performance-y pieces you've done, all of the story still needs to be shot. So I had to quickly jump on Amazon, get a wig, and put my mum to work. And nobody has ever clocked on the final video that the guitar is a kid's guitar from when I was like 6, as opposed to her proper guitar.
Also, so yeah, anyone listening to this podcast, no finding video and putting all the comments saying, "Not your mum now, isn't it?"
It's like your mum with that video.
Yeah, it's suddenly got 100 comments saying that guitar's
Yes. You'll notice that I have not mentioned the name of it.
Immediate comments blocked.
Just like, nope, not having it. Blocked.
And I'm pretty sure we've got a few Star Wars fans in the podcast today, right? Lily's
Yeah.
putting her hand up. And we noticed you were doing the European press conference for, it looked like maybe the launch of The Force Awakens.
Oh.
Yes.
Behind the scenes things. You said it was the only time you've ever worked on your birthday. Tell us more.
Yes, it was. I was very much looking forward to it, and it being a birthday and me being a Star Wars fan. Through unfortunate circumstances, I then ended up watching it 3 times in a day. Once at midnight with my cousin, who was a massive Star Wars fan, and then I go to this work job, and yeah, they play it. I was like, oh god. So I watched it twice, do the press conference. Harrison Ford did a lovely little joke afterwards about my company name and said, "That's no moonshine." I was like, I wish I was rolling for that. It's like, but I'm not doing it again, and no one will ever believe you.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then, yeah, that was just a good giggle. It was, yes, in central London. I was running the stream on that one. So again, it was just carving out that niche of having a trusted pair of hands. And I suppose streaming is great when it works, but when it doesn't work, you need to be very calm under pressure and work out why it's not working. I did one earlier this year where we started the stream and it was to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's still a bit buggy with streaming, and it didn't work. So how do I put this quickly? I basically guessed the main admin's password and then just put it on their LinkedIn home screen page because they wanted it on this little event video. And I was like, cool, I got it fixed. By the way, you should probably change your password.
Was it the name of your dog? That's a
It was like the company name with just some symbols in, so it wasn't too hard.
Wow. So who knew being a videographer could lead to hacking LinkedIn?
Just like, oh, I'm in this person's account. I'm just gonna see. Wait. Oh, that's not good there.
Yeah, that's ingenuity. That is so amazing. No, we're not right near the end of the podcast. We're coming up where I think it's good to get a few of our classic roundup things in. And one of the classic questions we always talk about is, anyway, if you the Back to the Future car, the time
Yay.
take it back in time to young Grant. Is there any words of advice or encouragement or anything you want to say?
I would probably say when I left the ITV, I think I should have just gone freelancing then. I'd say in our uni course, I have no idea how general this is these days, but probably about half of our year had left during the course, didn't even graduate because they had got jobs or got careers. And even our lecturers were very supportive of it, saying, well, the whole point of this is to get a career. So if you've done it before you finish, so be it. And so I always have that in the back of my head of if I just skipped the job. But on the other side, it did show me a lot, and I got to build something nice, which was cool. So that would probably be my one jump back in time.
Okay, cool. Okay, we'll start being freelance a little bit earlier. And then
Yeah.
one of the other ones we always ask, we covered a few fun and interesting stories so far, but is there any one specific, like funniest or biggest awkward
the
fail or anything
blooper.
like that you want to share?
Yes.
Oh, I'm trying to think of some here. There's one on my website that is brilliant where we did we have this thing that we came up with at trade shows called a walkie-talkie, which is just we'll go on a gimbal, walk around a show, and just doorstep people and try and get them to say something interesting. And we do it live, just in one take, just to sort of add to the pressure. And we had done 25 minutes straight in Dubai in this really big tech show, walking around, and I had, including walking backwards, which is always fun trying to do I think there's 70,000 people at this trade show, managed the whole thing seamlessly. And then the presenter just flips around, and on the outro, there's just someone there with a broom sweeping. And then he just starts sweeping the guy and pushing into his leg, and then looking up at him going, get out the way. And it's like, I'm doing the telly. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go back and do it all again. But in the end, we just kept it in, and everyone loved it. And it ended up getting the most views because it was just so hilarious. But yeah, I always remember that as just an epic fail.
That's amazing stuff. And I know we're going to have maybe some questions from all of us, but we usually make time for that. And I'm guessing Lily's
Yes, we're gonna make this a quote sound.
Guys, if you want to ask questions too, that's fine. But yeah, well, this has become a segment, which is quite funny. It kind of happened so naturally. We just started noticing there was always any last questions. I was like,
I'm too quick. We're gonna make this like a song. Say Lily's 2 questions on the question. Yeah, it's every
Jingles,
time.
mate.
Yeah, every time we do, like every time we have a podcast from someone's job. I'm always at the end saying, "Oh, David, I've got 2 last questions to ask at the end."
so, let's go for question 1 then.
Okay, so what was your most favourite thing you did in your actual job or your industry thing you do?
I would say my favourite is the Deep Mind Challenge match, which can't remember what year it was. Frantically looking at my website. It's not on there. Oh, 2014.
Okay.
So in 2014, done some work with Google for a while, and then they asked if I wanted to go out to South Korea for a special project, which was interesting. Went out there. I was out there for I think a month, and it ended up. It's still referenced today. It was the AI taking on the world's most famous player at Go, which is like a advanced form of chess. And at the time, I just was there going, "Oh, this is cool. You know, this would be a nice little project." And then when I'm there, I was on the train going out somewhere on an off day, and it's like someone's watching our stuff. And then look around, all around Seoul. It's on the big screens. It's like literally there are people standing in the street watching this. And then I'm getting the view counts of like, it's in the billions. And
Wow.
it's like, oh, Jesus, this is big. And then like 6 months later, they get an email of like, oh, you're right for your image to be in the Netflix movie about this. I'm like, what? I was like, oh, okay, then that was a bit bigger than I was expecting. But even now, when obviously AI is so prevalent these days, I'm just here, you know, one of the milestones was when AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol and Go. I was like, I was there in all the pictures. I'm behind that wall.
Yay!
That is cool. That is cool. Amazing. That's a great story. Lily, you got any other questions?
And my last question is, what was your hardest thing you did in your job?
I think the hardest thing is trying to keep everyone happy. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Obviously now run a lot of teams in the jobs that we do, and sometimes there's long hours, sometimes you know, the rate's not as high as you want to give them for what they're worth, and it's just trying to keep them happy, do them favors, do those little extra bits that you can do, take them out for a drink afterwards, that sort of thing, to keep them sweet. I'd say the one thing that my teams love saying on these jobs is we don't come for the day, we come for the nights, because you know we always have a good time. We're like a little family.
Cute.
In fact, I was out with them last week in Frankfurt on a job, just like, oh, you know, family get together, family holidays. So it's like, it's nice that you guys see it like that, not the grueling 12-hour days that we're doing around them.
Cool. That's awesome.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah,
No worries.
great stuff. Guys, any other questions you want to ask about this?
I have
Eloise?
one.
Yeah, go for it.
You mentioned that you have to travel quite a lot for work opportunities. Do you have to travel abroad quite a lot, and how do you find that?
I love flying. If I didn't, it could be a whole different story. But I mean, my wife doesn't like it as much. But it's this year in September. We've done. I'm trying to remember this now. Atlanta, Bangkok, Asia. No, it's Asia. Vegas, Frankfurt, Milan, Poland, Turkey, and then off to Manchester next week. So, you know, definitely a downward spiral.
Wow. That's amazing.
I'm jealous.
That's really cool.
So, and then one of my guys last year was out in Australia for 6 weeks. So I
I'd
was
love to
like,
travel.
oh,
Me too.
it's
Yeah.
definitely a good job for traveling. If you're good at what you do in these days, then it travels beyond borders.
Oh, there you go.
It's really cool.
We even had a videographer that worked with Super Jam sometimes, and then he doesn't as much now, but he ended up working with him behind the scenes at golf tournaments, and he gets to travel everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So you never know what it can lead you to. Like,
Ooh.
and he's not even that mad about golf, but he's like, may as well get travel. Okay, cool.
Just travel a lot.
Yeah.
I hope he watched Golf Juice, the Sky series we made.
Oh, really?
Nice little plug there.
Ooh.
I mean, it doesn't exist anymore, but we were trying to make Top Gear for golf.
Oh, right, that's fun.
So that was a good giggle.
That'll be
Literally,
my
like
dad's favourite.
Yeah.
bombing it down a fairway with segways, just trying to do like polo but with golf balls.
Polo.
And no one fell off the segway at all. No celebrities.
Yeah, I'm sure we don't.
Can't prove nothing.
Tiger Woods in a bunker. Anyone else got any, Jude, Owen, anything else you want to ask about the video production type things? Or I know Owen's actually, like I said, doing some YouTube stuff. Anything you guys want to ask before we have to wrap up the podcast?
I guess with the YouTube stuff, do you know of any like best accessibility like that blind people can use to record stuff into YouTube?
Ooh, I don't know. I'd say that's
That's a good question.
definitely, that is a very good question. I'd say potentially reaching out to them on that would be the best thing that you could do, as I know they're a great company to work with, done so much stuff there over the years. I would have said 10 years ago, just asking to go visit the YouTube space would have been brilliant, but they have shut those down. So that would have been brilliant back then. But maybe reaching out to them with just about any tools, they would definitely reply. They would, if they didn't think of it already, they would probably then start building something. So
Actually, ask straight to the source. Ask YouTube. That's a great
Yeah.
idea. I don't know. Think that maybe we can work with
I
that.
don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you
Yeah.
do that with it.
They've got some
Like
support
house
pages.
pin.
yeah, support pages, just reach out to us. They're usually very receptive on those things. And
It's good.
one good thing that Google do is they have their 20% time where they'll do a day a week on their own projects, which obviously spins out to lots of things. So even like Google Docs and Gmail started out as that. So even if it doesn't exist, I'm sure someone would take that up and go, oh, that's a really good idea of making it more accessible.
Maybe, okay, well, we'll take that. Well, we've not got long left, because I know these guys normally get their break at lunch. Is there any last quick questions before we head off, guys? Well, I think, Grant, I want to say thanks so much for your time. Honestly, it's been so fun, yet informative.
All right, David.
You know what we go for this. Massive shout
Hey.
out to the student team who's been helping in the background so well with the questions and helping host it and stuff.
Yay.
Yeah, Grant, once again,
Thank
thanks.
you all.
We got a round of applause to that.
Woo!
So thanks to anyone who's tuned in listening to this podcast as well. It's great to have you here, and yeah, we will catch you later. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Well,